All right, today I'm gonna walk you through the process of installing and activating an eSIM on your iPhone. It's surprisingly straightforward, so if you've been hesitant or you think eSIMs are too complex, don't worry, they're actually quite user-friendly and also a fantastic way to save on data roaming costs. Now, when it comes to installing and activating your eSIM, there are probably a couple of options available to you. You may have direct installation, where you'll be prompted to install by clicking a button like this, or there may be the option to scan a QR code or manually install by copying and pasting information. I'm going to show you the direct method because that's the easiest, but scanning a QR code is also very straightforward, and once you've scanned, the process is just the same as direct. So I've already downloaded this free one from GigSky. I'll also include a link in the description box below if you want to get one and follow along. But their free eSIMs are perfect for practicing the installation process and testing speeds before purchasing more data. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Install eSIM. And before we go any further, when you install your eSIM, just make sure you have a stable internet connection, because if your internet drops, then it may fail and you won't be able to reinstall it. Now, this installation advice is specific to GigSky, and once that's loaded, we can tap Continue and then Allow. Here it says Activate eSIM, and it doesn't matter which provider you're using, this will appear for everyone with an iPhone. So go ahead and click Continue. And it should now say Activating, and this could take 30 to 60 seconds. So be patient and don't close this window. And while we wait, I want to quickly tell you about Monito's new eSIM comparison tool. So there are a lot of providers out there, and finding the best or the cheapest for your trip can be very time consuming. Instead, visit monito.com/eSIM. I'll put a link in the description box. Enter a few details such as where you're going and how much data you'll need, and we'll tell you which provider will be the cheapest and the best. We gather information directly from the eSIM companies, so we're basically doing the research for you and providing results tailored to your trip. It'll definitely save you some time and possibly some money as well. By now, your phone should say mobile plan setup complete. If so, tap Done and let's set up our default line. You'll see two options: primary, which is your regular SIM, and secondary, which is the newly installed eSIM. The names might vary here, but primary is your main SIM and the one below is your eSIM. For the default line, keep it as primary. This eSIM doesn't come with a phone number, so if you want to still make and receive calls and texts, perhaps for two-factor authentication, then keep this as primary. And this won't affect your data usage or roaming, but remember, your carrier may charge you to make calls or use your phone for texting. So tap Continue, and now we'll choose if we still want to receive iMessages and FaceTime. Keep this as primary, but don't worry, your phone will use your new eSIM for data, because we can tap Continue and select our eSIM as the default line. So that means our phone will use the data from that when we're browsing, streaming, or using iMessage and FaceTime. Also, just make sure Allow Mobile Data Switching is toggled off and then tap Done. Now, depending on your iOS, you might see this prompt about preferred lines. Since this eSIM doesn't have calls or texts, I'll go ahead and select primary as the preferred line. And now our eSIM is installed. But before we do anything else, we need to do some housekeeping. So go to your phone settings, click Mobile Service or Cellular, and then under SIMs, tap Secondary. And here we want to change the mobile plan label to something that we can recognize. So tap Custom Label and rename it. In this case, I'll call it GigSky-Japan. Now, if we're ready to start roaming, then just toggle data roaming to on. And if I was in Japan and connected to a local network, the eSIM would now activate and the 7-day validity period would commence. And if you just want to double check that your primary SIM, so the one you use at home, won't be used for roaming, then go back to mobile service within your phone settings, click mobile data, and ensure your new eSIM is selected. And for extra assurance, you can actually turn data roaming off on your primary SIM or turn it off entirely. Tap primary, then toggle data roaming to off, or go one step further and toggle turn on this line to off. Just remember, if you do this, you won't be able to make or receive calls and texts. And that's it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below and I'll respond as quickly as possible. And if you'd like to learn more about eSIMs and other providers, then watch this video next. See you soon. Goodbye.